If you had to describe the 6 months in Brazil in just one sentence, how would you describe them? How did you communicate day to day when most people around you speak Portuguese? Could you imagine living in Brazil someday? Estou aqui com meu marido Tyler. Vocês mandaram muitas perguntas para ele e nós vamos responder hoje. Eu vou ficar olhando aqui para esse papel, as perguntas estão aqui, um pouquinho do contexto também, me sinto mais segura com toda a parte em inglês aqui. Pro Tyler também entender o que está acontecendo. Agora, a partir daqui, a entrevista vai ser praticamente toda em inglês e eu vou colocar as legendas para vocês. Now I'm gonna say English so you can understand more. My husband and I, along with our 2 young children, are spending 6 months in Brazil. But this time is very different from anything we have done before. For the first time, my husband has spent 6 full months living in a city where I was born and raised, inside my parents' home, surrounded by my family, my culture, and the reality that shaped who I am. This is Tyler, again,
Yep.
my American husband, and today he's answering the questions you sent about our time living in Brazil. If you had to describe the 6 months in Brazil in just one sentence, how would you describe them?
I think one sentence that would describe my being here for 6 months, it would be me being able to understand you and where you came from and how you thought about things when you arrived for the first time in the United States.
And before coming here, what did you think this experience would be, and how different has the reality been?
I think I expected the experience to be a little bit more relaxing, but I think due to our life circumstances with the health situations with my dad, and I was having some issues at my work that were very stressful. It kind of caused a lot of stress for you and I, more than I expected during our trip here. I guess the constant heat for almost 6 months was not something I expected. I expected a little, because last time I visited here, there was more rain.
Was in April?
Yeah, so it wasn't every day 98 degrees
Sure.
Fahrenheit because there was some rain in between, but it was almost 5 months with very little rain at all. So that was a little bit more challenging.
And what surprised you the most during the first couple of weeks?
Probably the heat. It's still a shock. I think for me, I would say the first month and a half, I just felt so exhausted and tired.
It's like our body feels
Heavy. Yeah, I felt.
especially coming from all the way north, Montana.
Yeah, it's like the altitude and like just the heaviness and the humidity because it's dry in Montana and it's humid here. So I think all of that just made me very, I would say, tired, and just I wasn't expecting that.
I think you had a lot of mangoes too in the beginning. Remember?
I did have a lot of mangoes, which was I was expecting to hopefully have that.
That was. Yeah, we always have to mention mangoes
Mangoes.
in this channel because
That's what I love.
yes.
I think too when I first got here, we had Thompson's celebration for his baptism with his
Yes,
godparents.
true.
The second week, right?
I think so.
And I think I remember drinking just tons and tons of water,
Yes,
like every second
It
or
was-
every minute, because it was just
it was a really hot day.
really hot. And I remember having to take breaks in the room. Just
The room with air conditioning.
I felt I kind of dizzy,
dizzy.
kind of just like about to faint because I think I drink so much water.
Yeah, I felt like that when we
Came?
came last time when I was pregnant. I felt more dizzy with the heat, especially pregnant, I think.
Especially pregnant.
Yeah, I felt like that, so I understand. One of the most common questions people sent was about language and communication. How did you communicate day to day when most people around you speak Portuguese?
I just pretend and say, sim, que pena,
Que pena.
pena. Just say yes or I'm starting to understand your parents more, and so they can communicate with me at a childish level, a kid level. But I think for the most part, I understand more than I could say. So it's more of me saying, sim,
Sim.
no,
Não.
Eu acho que sim.
Eu acho que sim. Que calor.
Que calor. Calor.
Calor.
Muito calor. Thankfully I've been able to talk with your dad a little bit more with more in-depth stuff. We've always talked a little bit through Google Translate, but this time I was able to talk a little bit more in depth because I know a little bit more vocabulary, and so I was able to go a little bit more in depth with him. But I think it's challenging, like trying to talk to your niece, for example. I feel bad because I want to talk with her and communicate more with her, but the challenging thing is just it's hard to have a conversation just because my vocabulary is very small, and so I have to ask the same questions all the time.
Yeah.
You can only ask a person a few times what movies they like and like what do they like to do. I think that's the most frustrating part is I want to know your family more and I want to get more close to them, but it's harder. I mean, thankfully they're great and it's easy to mime things and express yourself in like sign language anyway, body language, but not being able to express in-depth thoughts and feelings. I have a little of advantage now because you speak English pretty well.
Thank you.
Whereas now, when you came, no one spoke Portuguese, so it must have been even more isolating. Yeah.
But you're doing a great job, babe. Thank you.
I'll get it someday.
Thank you for doing this. Português. You already say que pena.
Oh, que pena.
Ele gosta de falar que pena.
Que
He
pena.
likes it.
Hello.
No, you can say something in
I
Portuguese.
don't know what to say. Eu amo Brasil.
Aw.
Eu amo você.
Oh.
Chegou.
Chegou. Cebola.
Oh, cebola. Vocês gostam de manga?
Tell them to subscribe in this channel.
In Portuguese?
Yes.
I don't know how to say that in Portuguese.
Inscreva-se
Inscreva-se
no canal
no canal
para você não perder
para você não perder
os próximos vídeos.
os próximos vídeos.
E já deixe
E já deixe
o seu like,
seu like.
porque isso ajuda muito.
Hã?
Porque
Porque
isso ajuda muito
isso ajuda muito
a minha esposa.
a minha esposa.
Ah, obrigada, baby.
De nada.
Do you understand what you say?
Sim,
Thank you.
de nada.
How does it feel seeing your children? It's hard for me saying children.
Children.
I like to say kids. How does it feel seeing our kids, Valentina and Thompson, grow up bilingual?
Yeah, Valentina is mainly speaking Portuguese right now, which is pretty cute.
Yeah.
It's really cute. It's great. It's great. Sometimes it's challenging because I'll say something in English and she won't understand. Some words I don't know in Portuguese I'll have to say in English, but sometimes she doesn't know that word.
Yeah.
So it's a little, challenging, but it's good. Yeah, so Samila speaks to the kids only in Portuguese, and I speak to the kids in English and more frequently Portuguese because we're in Brazil.
We're trying to do a very immersive, that's how we say
Immersive experience.
immersive experience in Portuguese for them right now.
Yeah, since they'll be probably growing up mostly in the United States, so it gives them an opportunity when they're younger to
Yeah.
get that foundation.
Portuguese, and Thompson is starting to speak in Portuguese now. He's saying papai,
Papai.
vovô, mamãe,
Yeah, it's really cute.
acabou,
Acabou.
acabou. It's very, very cute.
Mhm.
What was it like for you to live there,
Yeah.
União? We are in Teresina right now.
Yeah. It was good. I mean, definitely a smaller town. I mean, we lived in Brazil before in the south, in Florianopolis for 3 months.
3, 4.
Yeah, and then we lived in, I think, 4 months. And then we traveled around in São Paulo area and Rio de Janeiro, the state. I was exposed to Brazil, but we were kind of like tourists.
Yeah.
And Florianopolis was a little bit more touristy, so it was easier for me to adapt there, I think, than it was here because it's more of a touristy area. There's more, there was Ubers that we could take. It was really easy for us to get around, and me as a foreigner to get around by just taking an Uber or going to hotels and restaurants kind of were just
Yeah.
easier. I think it was more of a challenge because it didn't really have as much felt like freedom to go anywhere. Just
Because
because
we decided not to rent a car or anything, but we have
Yeah.
my dad's car, but we couldn't.
although we did go to acai quite a
A
bit.
lot.
A lot of acai. We did it a couple times. We went to the restaurant by the river.
The river.
Yeah, so there's a few things that we did, but for the most part, if you want to do anything, it's mainly in Teresina.
Yes, the
And-
capital.
Yeah, and so that's about an hour drive.
Mm-hmm.
But since there's only one vehicle, we would take the bus more frequently. And so that was my first time taking a Brazilian bus.
Yes. No, not the first time. We took bus in São Paulo.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the first time taking
Here.
a bus here in the north.
Did it feel more peaceful, more intense compared to the life in the U.S.?
Yeah, I mean, I think, or where we lived in the United States, and since I was more used to everything and we had a little bit more freedom because of a vehicle, I would say that was a little bit more peaceful because we knew where to go and everything. When we lived in Montana, we lived in more on the outskirts of town. It was very quiet and very peaceful.
We're used to that.
It's so used to a little bit more quiet.
It
Yeah,
was very, very quiet. We couldn't hear a thing.
yeah,
So it's different.
Yeah.
Different. And the noise of the motorcycles.
Those
A
are
lot of
Yeah,
motorcycles.
those are pretty loud. Actually.
What part of daily life there do you think shaped me the most?
I remember when you got to the United States, where we lived. I think this is more of you being in a smaller town, growing up in a smaller town. I know this town you lived in before has grown quite a bit, but I'm sure when you were younger there wasn't as many options for things. And so when you got to the United States, I think you were not exposed to many different things. And so when you got to the United States, it was a shock to you. In the United States, it's very, like, we don't really have like an American food besides like, McDonald's or something, or hamburgers.
Pizza.
But for the most part, American food is usually foods from other countries that are Americanized, like,
Yes.
Chinese food or
Mexican.
Italian food, Mexican food. So in the United States, we're used to eating, different cultures' foods, but you weren't as used to it.
No,
I think.
it was not.
So I think I think that was a challenge for you, is growing up in a smaller town, not being exposed to different foods and different cultures as well. I mean, it's pretty uniform culture where you live. I grew up in California for the most part, and there's a pretty diverse group of people. So I think too, like when it comes to like even going to the grocery store, I think you're used to being more slow, and like even like checking out. You were today trying to check out
Yes.
things. In USA, it's very like, you get your things and you check out, and it's a lot more quick and efficient.
Yep.
And more like, the person behind you is like, come on, hurry up. Like,
Yes.
what are you
I was
doing?
not used to that.
Yeah.
But now I am. It's interesting because now being here back, I can see all this difference. Like,
Yeah.
that's why I felt like that when I was in USA.
Yeah.
Because I can see all the difference now.
Yeah. It's quite different. It's more.
The traffic too.
Oh yeah, the traffic here is pretty different
Yeah.
than there. I mean, it seems like the rules are optional in some cases here.
Yeah, I feel
There's-
it's different. It's difficult
yeah.
sometimes.
It's hard with all the motorcycles.
Yeah, the motorcycles.
So there's so much more motorcycles here
Than in USA.
than in the United States. Yeah, I mean, there's I would say there's like more motorcycles than there are cars here, at least in your city, in your town.
True.
Where in the United States, it's like
Cars.
mostly cars.
Yeah.
There's a few motorcycles, but it's very dangerous to be on a motorcycle in the United States, especially because people aren't used to seeing motorcycles on the road, so they don't expect a motorcycle to be there,
Yes.
and they run them over.
They're just
Yeah.
driving in fast. They just don't expect it all.
Yeah,
But here you have to expect.
you kind of I feel like here in Brazil you're a little bit more of a defensive driver. You don't really expect anyone to follow the rules, so you're a lot more defensive.
True.
Where in the United States, people expect everyone else to follow the rules, and then when someone doesn't, that's when the accidents really happen.
That's true. What was the hardest thing for you to adapt to?
I guess since we were living with your parents, living with another family, I think they have their routine, we have our routine, and they do different things and we do different things, and so and we're living in their house, so we have to adapt to their, how they live, and so I think it's just learning that what their practices are, what they do.
What they do.
I think that was the hardest thing for me because of that. Just learning how to adapt to them, which is not a big deal. But I think to live in, like, if that wasn't a factor at all, I think the hardest thing of living in a small town where you lived for that long of time. I think getting around,
True.
Since we didn't really have a car for the whole time, you borrow your dad's vehicle. It was just going to different places. I think when we were in Florianopolis for those 4 months, we kind of adapted because there was a Uber was pretty easy to get. And
now
also
we have kids too, so it's kind of like
now we have
it's harder because everywhere we go, we have to bring car seats and all the things and backpacks.
If we were to experience Florianopolis again with the kids, I think it would be a different experience because it's just a lot more complex.
Yes.
And so I think for me the challenging thing was just getting around was harder because of just Uber's not as a thing in your town. I think.
They have taxi.
But for me, if I
hard.
have to get a taxi, I have to call them and speak to them or WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Where Uber is
have
just
to
an app.
rely on someone.
Yeah.
What Brazilian food surprised you the most?
Surprised me.
First, a lot of people ask, what kind of food you eat at my parents' house? Like,
what kind of food do I eat at your parents' house? I eat anything your parents make.
that's true.
I don't know how to describe. I mean, a lot of rice, a lot of beans.
Yeah, rice every day. Every day
Rice and beans, pretty much.
Couscous every day at my parents' house.
Yes, couscous.
It's not a thing in USA.
No couscous in the USA. My favorite dish, what your mom would make was you make too, is the stew with the bones and the cow meat.
Yeah,
and bones.
Mão de vaca tem outro nome também. Acho que eu vou deixar aqui.
That was my favorite. I loved it with the rice and that was my
it's
favorite.
really good. The bones.
You make that too at home,
I
so
do.
I like that a lot.
But you really like the pudim.
Oh yeah, my favorite dessert now is pudim.
Yeah.
I mean, we have what they call flan
In USA.
in USA. It's from
Mexican.
Mexican, so it's basically the same thing. But sometimes you do it a little differently.
I think my mother really makes a good one.
Yeah, she does. She makes a really good
It's
flan.
not too soft. It's just
right. Yeah, I love flan.
Are we bringing any Brazilian ingredients back in your luggage?
Not this time. Last
Yes.
time we brought tapioca and other things,
Couscous. And coffee.
and coffee. This time there's not enough room in our luggage to bring it. So
Yes, because we definitely are moving to another state.
State.
So we cannot bring anything because
I wish we could bring back acai.
People often ask us to compare Brazil and the United States. What feels most different to you between Brazil and the US?
One of the major differences of the United States and Brazil, I think, is definitely the toilet paper. You could flush the toilet paper in the United States, where in Brazil you have to put it in the trash.
Yes, the trash. We mentioned the traffic is different, the cars, I think some type
Cars
of
are smaller.
Cars.
I feel like everything I touch here in Brazil breaks.
It's true.
Like I'm just like,
Because we're so used to the big cars. We were used to our trucks in USA, so our trucks were pretty. You have to open like
yeah, I was like
old-
slam the door.
old trucks that we sold.
Old trucks, yeah.
Yeah.
I think everything, and it's just it's a little bit bigger. I think it was in the bathroom today, and I broke something trying to.
Really?
Yeah.
Other things are really small here. Trash cans, cups, mugs.
Yeah.
Everything.
Definitely the trash cans.
Yeah,
Like, those
trash
just, like,
cans are really
little
small.
small, like in the United States.
I can see those things now. It's like it's crazy. Like, oh, they're so small now.
Yeah, USA you have like a huge trash. And,
Yes, in their kitchen and then.
yeah.
What else?
In the United States we have a place called Costco, and so in the United States it's cheaper to buy things in bulk.
It's true.
So you'll go to Costco and you'll load up your huge shopping cart and just like
With a lot of.
massive. You put like a huge amount of stuff in your shopping cart, and it's like you're stocking up for the winter. It feels like.
That's true, and I can say that I feel like things here are expensive when it comes to products.
I think it depends what it is. I mean,
Products for sure.
fruits
When it comes to
and
products.
products. Yeah, fruits and vegetables and the organic things are cheaper here. But when it comes to like buying, probably I don't know, toilet paper or something,
Yeah,
that stuff, it's probably
like beauty products, things like that.
right. Yeah,
But services are cheaper
services.
than in
cheaper.
USA.
Yeah, I think since you guys have high tariffs here in Brazil, a lot of the import stuff, like cheap stuff you buy from China is a little bit more expensive here than in the United States. Another thing that I would say is different here is the people are different here. You would say I think they're a little bit more, you know, friendly. I would say when it comes to like I don't know, a little bit, more hugging and touching.
You can notice that when they see our kids, they want to hug them and kiss them.
Yeah, it feels a little bit more close. Where in the United States, I feel people they're polite, and it depends on where you're at too. Highly depends on where you're at. But I would say for the most part, people are a little bit more standoffish, especially when it comes to kids. I think they're a little bit more like, don't touch the kids. A little bit more polite, but a little bit more distant. I feel like we have a bigger breakfast, but it's a little bit later.
Later in the day.
Later in a little bit, like I would say around 8.
Yeah. Or sometimes it's kind of like a brunch.
Yeah.
It's breakfast, almost lunch, and sometimes we don't have lunch. We have just dinner, which our main meal is a dinner. I feel like.
In the United States, I think the main meal is dinner usually. I think it's like a bigger breakfast, lighter lunch, and bigger dinner.
Because I think people here in Brazil, they take long breaks for lunch.
For lunch, yeah. I think usually the typical lunch is like 30 minutes in the United States.
Yeah, so you have just a quick
sandwich, something that you microwave or something.
Do you feel that living here helped you understand me better, especially how I thought and react early in your marriage?
Yeah, definitely. I think so. I think we kind of talked a little bit about it before, but when you first got to USA, I could, you definitely had moments where it was overwhelming for you, and especially not being able to speak to anyone, feeling this trapped feeling. You also came to the United States during kind of starting to go into winter time. So in that time in Montana, it gets it's pretty cold in winter, and you don't really go out that much. So I could imagine you felt very trapped, and like you can't speak to anyone, you can't go anywhere. It kind of feels the same way with me, whereas like I can't really speak to anyone, and I also don't have can't really go anywhere. Same thing for you. I can imagine how that must have been challenging in the beginning. You didn't have any freedom to go do anything. And then there's in Montana, there's no like real bus. I don't think there's buses at all where we lived. So it's not like you have public transportation you could go take or anything like that. You probably wouldn't have if it was there. But yeah, I think that was pretty challenging. I think too, you had cultural differences. I think in the USA things are a little bit more fast, and so going to. And it's also a cultural thing with my parents. My mom, at least, when she goes to a store, she wants to go immediately to whatever she's gonna buy, and her goal is to do it as fast as she can. It's kind of like a fun challenge for her. But you're slightly different, where you, and probably most other people in Brazil are a little bit more
like that.
Take your time, So yeah, I mean, it's a good, it's not saying the one's better than the other. It's just different. And I think too, when you're like ordering food, sometimes more recently the waitresses and the waiters have been a little bit more rude in the United States, at least where we lived. They kind of like, what do you want? Like, oh, you don't know? Okay, it's a little bit more of like they want you to know right away.
It helps when you lived in the city, so you already know what the restaurant has.
Yeah. Where here I feel like it's a little bit more
slow,
laid back, a little bit slower.
So did this experience change the way you see my roots or my family?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I think too, also like taking the bus with you.
Yes.
Seeing how you had to commute, about an hour by bus to Teresina to go study. It's hard. I mean, I took the bus too in USA, some parts, but it was a little bit, shorter distances. Right. But taking a bus from your small town to Teresina is, a bigger and more challenging.
We took a van too. We call it here van. I don't know.
Yeah, it's probably a van.
Yeah, but they don't have air conditioner in the van, so it was harder, huh?
Sure was, yeah. Sure was, yeah. It's the heat is a whole different challenge. So
that's true, babe. This season wasn't random. 2025 was a very intense year for our family. What did this season in Brazil mean to you as a husband and as a father?
I think it was important for me because I was able to understand you better, understand how you lived before and how things are different here compared to USA. And so it was easier for me to understand your thought processes and certain things. I stayed in your town before, but that was for 3 weeks.
Less than that.
Less than that. So when you get that time, it's not really, you don't really get to experience living there. Also, it was a different time of the year as well, so that was different. It was really cool being able to see a little bit more how you grew up, seeing the fair in your town, then seeing experience Christmas, the different decorations in your town. So I think being able to see these things and how you grew up and how you lived really helped me understand the way you think. And also it was important to show the kids, of course they're too young to probably remember anything, but it is good to show the kids a little bit of your life before and how things are here and how things are there. So it's good to show the differences of each culture. I think it brought closure to you to experience things here differently than now that you're married, now that you have kids, now that you know a different country, and you could just see differences. What's the differences here versus there. I think it's pretty awesome to actually recognize those differences, because when you live in a certain place for your whole life, you don't know that they do something different somewhere else, or so you get to kind of see what things you like here, what things you like there, and we can kind of mend them together in our life.
After the 6 months, could you imagine living in Brazil someday?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I would like to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to. Probably a place that is a little cooler. Maybe it's pretty nice.
But just take my family with us.
Visit us.
Yes.
We definitely would come back and visit here for sure. It's good for the kids to see, where you grew up and all that.
What are you taking with you from this experience?
I would say, besides seeing things through your eyes and seeing your life here, and I'm definitely taking back the memories, being with your family and, seeing your parents and your brother and his family, seeing them grow, and I think also seeing your town grow. Your town has grown quite a bit, and I see a lot more people in your town happier. They're like, they're exercising more. They're going to the parks.
That's true.
I think I've definitely seen a big change in your town, and I think it's made quite a big difference in the people that live there. So I think I was really proud to see your town grow, and then also see your family grow as well. I think it's cool seeing your parents. They're always doing different things in the house and improving their house. So it's pretty cool to see. They're like, oh, we did this, that, this. So it's really cool to see that. And then your brother's family as well. They're doing really well, and they're going out more and discovering different things, and getting them to try some wine.
Yes, now they're wine snobs.
Snobs, yeah. I think getting them to not just drink wine, more of just teaching them the appreciation of the wine, and like, these are the wines you would have with this type of food, and this is the wine you'd have with this type of food, and this is how you drink it, and the different type of the smelling the wine and tasting it, and learning how to appreciate the flavors of it, and also use it to celebrate special moments, and seeing your brother and sister-in-law get really happy, and I don't know, seeing them they were starting to buy wine, and oh, you paired it with this fish, right? And it made me happy to see, I guess, your family appreciate different things.
I want to just talk briefly
Briefly
about the reasons we came to Brazil.
I guess one of the main reasons to come to Brazil was definitely to be with your family, and to have the kids with their their family as well. And so it was really great seeing, especially Thompson, to meet your parents for the first time in person. So it was really cool. He's really definitely liked your dad.
Yeah.
Vovo. on especially your dad taking him on the bike and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think Thompson's really warmed up to your dad, and then seeing your mom with them as well, and her get to enjoy making food for us, and and help with the bedtime routine. Yeah, I think we had we're at a pretty big junction in life. So, we knew we wanted to move out of Montana. There's some other things happening, with health and stuff. And so we decided that it's a good opportunity for us to visit Brazil. So we put everything into a storage unit and moved to Brazil for a few months so that we could have a little break, also have time to breathe a little bit and reevaluate what we want to do and how we want to do it. Because everything was getting so rushed, we had to be out of our house at a certain time. So it was mainly, a good opportunity for us to not only spend time with family, but also have a time to reevaluate and plan our next moves.
Are you excited to go back to USA?
Yeah, I'm excited. I think I'm ready to start getting our life organized together and planting roots down. Kind of getting things, having our own space and getting things organized for us, and just having our freedom to make whatever choices we want to make. And I'm pretty excited to start the next chapter in life. And yeah.
Thank you so much for doing this with
You're
me
welcome.
again.
You're welcome.
Obrigada, gente, por mandar as perguntas. Espero que vocês gostem. Como meu marido disse, deixem aqui o seu like, porque isso me ajuda muito. Se vocês tiverem mais alguma pergunta, deixem aqui nos comentários que eu vou amar responder vocês. E eu vejo vocês no próximo vídeo. Tchau!
Tchau.